You know, when we think about human progress, we usually picture the shiny objects like rockets or gleaming bullet trains.
Right, the sports cars.
Exactly. It's like looking at a beautifully designed smartphone and, obsessing over the glass screen while completely ignoring the massive cellular network that actually makes it useful.
Yeah, that invisible network is everything. And in today's deep dive into our sources on the history of human mobility, we're seeing that moving people and goods isn't just about cool vehicles.
No, it's really the defining metric of civilization itself.
It is.
Hmm.
And understanding the history leads us straight to a concept our sources call Mobility 5.0.
But to get there, we have to completely rethink how innovation actually happens. And the sources start with this 5,000-year-old piece of wood from the Ljubljana marshes in Slovenia.
Oh yeah, the ancient wheel and axle. It sounds so basic.
Right, but the mechanics of this artifact are wild. I mean, it wasn't just a wheel spinning freely on a stick.
No, it really wasn't. The wheel and the axle were engineered to rotate together as a single, solid unit.
Which means you couldn't just, like, slap it onto a basket and call it a cart.
Exactly. A fixed axle requires a specifically designed chassis, precise friction points, lubrication. It demands an entire system.
So the wheel didn't just conjure transportation out of thin air.
No, you needed cleared roads, artisans to craft the specialized wood, domesticated animals to pull it. The vehicle is meaningless without the network.
It goes back to that smartphone analogy. Buying a top-tier phone in a world with no Wi-Fi just leaves you with a heavy, expensive rectangle.
Yeah, the infrastructure is the mobility. And we see this so vividly with the ancient Persian Empire.
Oh, the Kamats.
Right. We all know they expanded through massive military logistics. But the invisible prerequisite for moving those armies and trade caravans was their Qanat system.
Those incredible underground channels using gravity to move water from aquifers to arid plains.
Exactly. Moving water was the required infrastructure for moving people.
Wow. And for centuries, that was the model, right? We worked with nature.
Yeah, harnessing the wind with sails or just interpreting the environment. But the paradigm shifts completely when we decide to overpower nature instead.
Right, like Stephenson's rocket locomotive or Bertha Benz's famous first road trip.
Yeah, what we often miss there is that they weren't just proving a machine worked. They were proving humanity no longer had to wait for the wind to blow.
We decoupled ourselves from the limits of muscle and weather by, converting coal and oil into continuous mechanical work.
We traded the limitations of nature for absolute individual freedom. You could finally choose your exact departure time and destination.
Wait, I have to stop you there.
Oh, good.
You call the combustion engine absolute individual freedom, but anyone sitting in 2 hours of bumper-to-bumper traffic on the interstate would call it a prison. So how did those square?
Well, that's the core paradox our sources highlight. Every single mobility revolution solves one limit, but it creates a brand new one in its place.
So steam freed us from the wind, but chained us to coal.
Exactly. And the automobile gave you individual freedom, but the collective cost of everyone exercising that freedom simultaneously generated massive sprawl.
And pollution. And the very traffic jams you're stuck in.
Right. We solved the freedom problem, but created a collective efficiency problem.
Okay, so mapping this out. If Mobility 1.0 was walking, and 2.0 brought domesticated animals.
And 3.0 was the steam age, and 4.0 was the era of the automobile.
Right. So if we're hitting the limits of 4.0, what does 5.0 look like?
Well, the sources point to two 20th century breakthroughs to answer that. Apollo 11 and the shipping container.
Okay, Apollo 11. That forced humanity to view Earth from the outside as a closed, fragile system, right?
Yeah. A spaceship requires extreme energy discipline. Every kilogram matters, and everything must be perfectly integrated.
And then the shipping container takes that idea of integration to the global economy. It's just a steel box.
Right. It didn't revolutionize trade by being a new vehicle. The magic is in the corner castings.
Those little metal holes on the edges?
Exactly. They allowed the box to click perfectly into a crane, a truck chassis, and a ship's hold without ever being unpacked.
It made existing transport totally interoperable.
And that interoperability is the blueprint for Mobility 5.0. It isn't about inventing a magical flying car to save us from traffic.
It's about integration, using the right tool for the right need.
Yeah, like trains for moving masses over long distances, bicycles, and small electric cars for short local trips.
Drones for specific tasks. So the goal isn't to travel less, but to travel better.
Exactly. Integrating what we already have into a unified ecosystem.
It really shows that our transportation amplifies exactly what our society chooses to be.
It's a constant balancing act between our desire for individual freedom and the collective cost we are willing to bear.
Which brings us right back to the beginning. We have to stop obsessing over the shiny glass screen.
Right, and start paying attention to the network that sustains it.
So, if infrastructure truly reflects a society's core values, what will a historian 1,000 years from now deduce about our culture simply by looking at the layout of your daily commute?